The reputation of today's modern realtor is not great. Typically you have clients who just do not trust their agent or trust their realtor.
If you ask consumers, almost to a person, they'll tell you that realtors don't have a great reputation. It's just sort of this universal truth. It's almost a joke. In fact, the jokes are funny because it's so universally true.
We know we're in the bottom 3 in the nation as far as reputation, so we've got some work to do. We've gotten this reputation of money, we're seeking money, we're seeking glory, we're very ego-driven, driving a Mercedes, having a latte at 11 o'clock in the afternoon kind of thing.
Well, I think generally speaking it's not great. Been to a few events recently where we talked about how the consumers really see realtors, and most of them don't like us very much. They see us as more of a nuisance sometimes because they're, as soon as they leave their phone number, we're harassing them to death.
The vast majority of real estate professionals do not talk to their clients again after the closing, and I think that there's very few people who practice real estate as a true professional. Most of the people who do this on the side or do this on more of an amateur basis.
I think it's everyone's problem. If no communication is happening, then it's on everybody's shoulder that the communication has fallen apart and that you're not learning what you need to learn to move forward.
Problem is with the brand. If your brand image is tarnished, if somebody who represents your brand does not do the job that they say they're going to do, if they don't do a good job, if they don't follow through, if the customer's left without communication.
Everybody is affected by a negative reputation. Something they have to recognize is that it's available online. Social media today, everybody is talking, they're sharing their experience, positive or negative. So all of us have the responsibility to really take control.
It's mine, because that person that I meet in the line at the grocery store, if they have a bad perception of agents in general, I'm lumped in there with them. I have to prove otherwise that I'm not the average agent.
True or untrue, everyone's affected. Literally everyone in the real estate industry is affected by the perception. So again, this is where, that individual realtor who says, that's not me, I'm different, I have my own brand. That's true within, certain spheres. But in general, unless there's some action taken on the part of the industry to do a better job in aggregate of figuring out how to keep this the bad behavior, the bad perceptions from dominating the mindset of the consumer, there's always going to be this notion in the consumer's mind that what I'm dealing with is just a glorified car salesman.
Nobody's regulating, nobody's asking questions, nobody's talking to the consumer, they're not finding out why they're not happy.
The consumer right now has all the power. They have a million review sites that they can go to. They have Twitter, they have Facebook. They can ruin your reputation in a second. They will share it with their peers. And if you're not watching out for your brand image, you're in big trouble.
Technology has changed the way the agents actually have to do their business. And more so because the customers have changed. The customers, years ago, we used to have a lot of control of inventory. There was no internet back then. And in today's world, the consumers are so empowered with information and tools and data.
It's unfortunate because I think that there is a very few realtors who can probably ruin it for the rest of the industry. And nowadays, when a consumer has a bad experience, everything can be posted online.
The actual percentage of people who, don't return phone calls, spend most of the time talking about themselves, focus on the kind of marketing that sort of makes you, step back and cringe, who don't follow up after the sale is closed, who don't return phone calls on time, is actually a lot higher than I think the industry would like to admit.
People rely on what other people have to say about service providers. So if you as an agent are really committed to doing a great job, you also have that obligation to make sure people know about it.
I think the industry as a whole, both at the agent level, the association level, even with the franchises, I think we do a bad job of explaining what we do as agents to our clients.
Real estate agents and brokerages haven't changed enough with the times. We're still working in the same platforms with the same structures as we were when the industry really was birthed. decades ago.
I think we're living in an age where trust has to be earned before it's automatically given the benefit of the doubt. Without being able to assess where you're doing well, then you really don't know how to improve.
You know, you didn't necessarily do the best job of any of the realtors, and the only way you're ever going to find out is to ask. Clearly, you know, what we think they want and what they truly want are two different things.